Okay, welcome back. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-host, Andrea Kay and Urban Miaris, and we have our first guest, very special guest, if I might say so.
Absolutely.
Yep, Mr. Johan Engmann from Café Cantata. Welcome, Johan.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Great.
Well,
Now,
he's also from Fig Tree Cafe. We can't forget about that. One of my favorite eateries in Pacific Beach, among other locations.
well, you know what? We're having some great guests with multiple restaurants. Tell us a little bit about Café Cantata. Let's start out there.
Great. Well, we just opened, I think it'll be a month tomorrow, up in the Flower Hill Mall in Del Mar.
Mm-hmm.
Took over actually Panikin that have been there for over 20 years. Super excited. Did a nice little remodel there, and so far the feedback's been great, and we're really excited to be there.
Well, so
Now, tell me a little bit about what you guys are serving there, because, that could be a whole lot of things. It could be just like muffins and Danish and coffee to, full breakfast entrees.
Yeah, it's actually breakfast and lunch. We're open at 7 a.m. and close at 9 p.m. So we're open all day long, 7 days a week.
Okay.
And got a nice little menu, everything from, kale salad to gluten-free pastries to scrambled eggs to oatmeal to French toast.
So when you're starting a new location like that, how do you decide what your menu is going to be? I mean, that's got to be so hard.
Yeah, well, this one's a little different from Fig Tree in the sense that, you don't really have a full kitchen, and it is North County. I spent a little time up there, and there's definitely more of a health craze up there. We definitely needed to do more gluten-free items, more of the, almond milk and coconut milk and things like that. That might not be as high of a demand in Pacific Beach, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of researching the area to make those decisions.
And you've been in you're a young guy. You're in your early 30s, so you've been in the restaurants for a long time.
Yeah, so I moved here from Sweden when I was 16, actually, just to try school
that explains the name.
Yeah,
okay.
to try school for a year. Ended up staying and worked in restaurants since I was 17. Started as a dishwasher, then a busboy, a waiter, and so on, and really started saving my money to open my first place when I was 27.
Wow.
27.
Yeah.
I love people who come here to America and really embrace the American culture of entrepreneurship. I just think that is so exciting, especially with somebody so young.
Yeah.
I mean, was that just always something that you had in your mind about coming here, or did you come here and just fall into restaurants and then, have it go from there?
Yeah, well, I definitely wanted to come here and explore the opportunities. I never thought it would be in the restaurant industry, but it just sort of happened, I really wanted to get into real estate, but I ended up in the restaurant, and it's going fine right now.
Well, it's going better than fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you weren't one of these kids that was like dazzling your neighbors with cookies and various stuff when you were 8.
Not at all. Not at all. No.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
how do you go from wanting to be in real estate to not only creating the menu, but actually producing the menu that people want to keep coming back for? How does that happen?
Well, I think it started with, more than anything, kind of being an opportunist, because working in dinner evening restaurants, there's so many options, and I never saw that many breakfast places. Yet it seemed like San Diego was such a breakfast loving town, and there weren't that many options. So I was sort of just trying to stack the odds in my favor by doing a breakfast place, and then that developed into what Fig Tree is now, and then other ventures I'm doing in the restaurant industry.
Well, it's smart because, I come from the South and we're all about our breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And so when I first moved here to San Diego, that was such an area in food that was lacking for me.
Yeah.
And so, I just think it's absolutely brilliant.
I mean, how it is on weekends. Any place that essentially just serves brunch is generally busy on the weekends, and then
Mhm.
to take that 7 days a week is kind of what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
It's interesting, and I had been in the restaurant business too. Is my dad used to say, until you could eat the what first, you can't dish it out.
Uh-huh.
And starting out in the kitchen or the back room, so called, is so critical. But the amount of people who get in the restaurant business, it's all a matter of understanding food service and all. And the way you started out was the right way. When I was with Chef Robert Irvine, a few months ago, and that's what he said. The biggest reason for failure in food service is people don't have that experience. They haven't worked the kitchen, as an
Right.
example. And it's so important. It's you to be commended, really. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your focus on customer service, customer experience. We talked about that before we got on air.
Absolutely. I mean, I think one of my biggest pet peeves is when I go to a restaurant and you sort of get that feeling like they're doing you a favor by, bringing in this or that. It should always be, it's about every single customer that comes through the door, appreciating them, whether they appear like they have money or not is completely irrelevant. They are choosing to go to my place today, and they have a million other options. And to really just instill that in the staff to, just something so simple as saying, hey, thank you so much for coming in today. Would love to see you again. That's very simple, but you don't necessarily hear that every day.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, you must be doing something right if you have made it to your 5th restaurant now. So tell us a little bit about the Fig Tree Cafes, since we've been talking about Café Cantata.
Sure. Well, I opened the first one in Pacific Beach in 2008. Very, very much on a shoestring budget. We had, plastic tables and chairs in the beginning. It took about 3 years to really make the first dollar. I was sort of briefly telling you earlier that after about 3 months of opening, I quickly realized, hey, this is not going to be profitable right away. So I was needing to come up with something. So I went and creatively got a job at and I say that anyway.
I love these stories. I love these stories of survival because
exactly.
I resemble that remark. So
it was for a big medical company in the accounting department. My girlfriend at the time was the recruiter. So we made this big fake resume, and I had this college degree and all this experience, and she's the one who checked my references, quote unquote. So I got the job, and they had a really good training program, so I did very well, and eventually was offered a full-time position, which presented a problem because now I was going to work for the actual company, which did their own background check. So they're calling San Diego State, and they're trying to, because I didn't obviously have this diploma, and they're saying, hey, there's a little problem here. We can't seem to find your records. And I said, they must have lost it or this and that. And finally, it just sort of dwindled out, and nothing came of it. But eventually, I did come clean to them when I was getting ready to open my second location.
When you were getting ready to quit, you're like, oh, by the way.
Yeah, by the way, I have been running this restaurant and all this stuff, right?
This is just like my cousin Vinny, where he pretends that he's this guy Jerry Gallo out of New York, and then the whole time they're trying to research. No, it's I said Callo, not Gallo. It's the same story. We've got a real life my cousin Vinny here.
I'm staying away from that one.
Yeah.
So you're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business here on KFSD AM 1450 and financialnewsandtalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler, here with my co-hosts Andrea Kay and Urban Miaris. And our guest is Johan Engmann from Café Cantata and Fig Tree Cafes. So
well, I mean, you've already got 5 locations. I mean, certainly it begs the question, how many more? And outside San Diego, I mean, anybody who's got enough courage to do a My Cousin Vinny, to get the job you did, it's got to be courageous enough to go national, right?
Well, we'll see. I mean, that whole My Cousin Vinny thing was just, I think, out of pure stubbornness, refusing to give up. But the 5th one is kind of in the works right now. It is open, but I'm changing the concept. And that's going to be my new thing. It's going to be called Breakfast Republic, and that's going to open in North Park sometime next year. And that's kind of the new sort of brand I'm starting that I'm looking to expand more on multiple locations down the line. So.
What's different about that, Breakfast Republic?
Well, it's breakfast only. It's not, there's not an array of salads and paninis and stuff like that. It'll be open 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., 7 days a week, kind of just really simplifying it, having a niche, and, sort of people would identify with one thing as opposed to pizza, salads, all this stuff. Just sort of learning from what I've done and seen and realizing that simple is really better, I think, at least in a business sense, in restaurants, in my opinion.
Interesting. So I see you were a finalist for one of the awards from the Daily Transcript. Is that correct? Tell us about that.
Great.
It was great. I mean, I was nominated as a young entrepreneur, and I kept sending me these emails saying I'm still in the race. So that was a nice little honor.
Wow.
Good.
That's great.
You do an event for Wounded Warriors every year too.
Yes, that's a very, very exciting thing for me. We've done it 3 years in a row. Every year it's grown a lot. This past year I did it at my Liberty Station, Big Tree location. We ended up providing 185 free complimentary gourmet meals to members of the military through the Wounded Warrior organization, with beer, wine, everything, and just really taking a day and sort of just spending that day giving back and just talking to a number of individuals and them saying, hey, if it wasn't for you guys, we probably couldn't have this nice dinner. And that's that's bigger than the restaurant image. That's bigger than making money and stuff like that. That makes it all really worth it.
Yeah, and this was something you did as a collaboration with other business owners in the area there too. Am I correct?
Absolutely. So I've done it at the Hillcrest place where a number of the local restaurants came together, and one restaurant will donate the turkeys, another one the yams, and some of our suppliers will donate the beer and wine. So it's definitely a neighborhood event that we do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I personally want to say thank you. Thank you for doing that. And it's great to hear, business like so many here in San Diego focus on one benefit organization rather than each year they do for a different organization,
Right.
whoever knocks on their door.
Sure.
So thank you again.
Oh, pleasure.
Yeah, well, and I want to say thank you because as somebody who, wasn't like born and raised in the States,
Yeah.
for you to choose that, it means a lot to me. I'm
Yeah.
the daughter of 2 Marines, and so anything related to the veterans means a lot to me personally.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the, we've got about 3 minutes left. Okay, right now, like up in Del Mar, your new place, it's like you got the kale, you got the gluten-free. Those are, everybody's really health focused up there. That's kind of trendy right now. You got to also then, I guess, stay on top of trends, right? What else is coming,
Well,
you think?
we just launched a music night, for instance. So Thursday nights at Café Cantata, we're featuring this excellent piano player. His name is Robert Parker. So trying to do different things aside from just food. It's a great venue. We're on the second floor. It sort of opens up in the window, so we have a little patio outside. And
Oh, nice.
And just being, like you said, involved with the community and staying on top of trends, and whether it's gluten-free here, it's the this and the that. Just trying to keep track with everything
When
that's
do
going
you
on.
sleep?
I don't.
Yeah.
About
Sleep is
5 hours a
overrated.
night
Come
or
on.
something like that.
So,
And then you work out the rest of the time, right?
Uh-huh.
'Cause you're-
I'm actually 63 years old. I know I look real good
Right.
for my age.
Yeah, we're already getting the comments on
me.
Facebook about you, Johan.
oh, that's funny. That's
All
funny.
right.
Well, before we run out of time, why don't you tell our listeners how they can find you, your restaurants, what some information for public dissemination.
Well, the new place, Café Cantata, the website is mycafecantata.com. The Fig Tree locations are all under one website's figtreeeatery.com. And then the new Breakfast Republic is not up yet, but that will be coming early 2015.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. So,
Well, be sure you stay in
Well,
touch
great.
with us as you
Well, with the
progress.
races at Del Mar, your location here should be busy.
Yeah, I'm heading up there tonight, and I'm sure it's
Yeah.
going to be pretty crazy with everything
Well,
going on up there.
I'll
Awesome.
email some people I know that are there, and hopefully they'll stop by.
Great. Probably
And-
lots of big hats
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And good
Some of
luck
them
if
you might
do that.
recognize.
Okay.
yeah, well,
Right.
we're still mad at Urban because he had his friend Bo Derek come to town and he didn't invite her over to the radio
Oh
show.
my God.
He kept her all for himself.
He is, yeah.
Well,
he's
next time,
just
Mr.
Mr.
come on over to my
Selfish.
Well,
place.
I
I'll
know,
email her
right?
tonight. Let her know. So
Okay.
Yeah.
when we
Perfect.
get home.
So great. Well, Johan, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for
And,
having me. Great
I
being
will
here.
definitely give you a call and come check out your restaurant.
I appreciate it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Great. You're listening to Close Up on San Diego Business, where we get up close and personal with homegrown San Diego businesses and the people that are working hard to make a difference in our community. This is FinancialNewsTalk.com. I'm your host, Barry Waxler. We'll be right back after the break with more homegrown business Close Up, and we will have with us Mr. Dan Peter from Cabrillo Yacht Sales.